I think we are now live over on YouTube. Forgive my bedhead. My hair is unruly today. It's typically what happens when you go to bed with without my hair going completely dry. But anyway, what's up, guys? Canadian Guy here, and we are back with yet another Spyro Yap Sesh. So we're doing this on Saturdays. I've been enjoying them. You guys have been enjoying them. And even though I sit there and I think, man, there's not a lot of content to talk about, and I start off with like one or two ideas, all of a sudden, with the help of you guys, we roll into a full 2-hour discussion where I actually have to cut it short because you guys are so awesome and so amazing. So, what's up, guys? Give me a minute to finish getting set up, and we will get started. Hopefully you guys can hear me, that all is clear and is nice. It is nice, yes. Fine. There we go. Can you hear just fine? Goody. That's good. So, couple of things, couple of reminders just to let you guys know. Remember, September 4th is going to be Spyro Community Day. Big day of celebration that we love doing for Spyro. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'm excited for this year in particular, especially with A Realm Beyond being out. Give me a second here. Last thing, and then we will get started. Hey, Sun Shadow, how's it going? Greens from Trinidad and Tobago. That's awesome. Didn't realize I had some fans over there. Brain. I need to function. I love when I ask my brain to brain and it just doesn't brain. It's like, okay, sure. That's fine. Don't brain. So, all right. Without further ado, let's begin. What's up, guys? Canadian Guy here, and today we are back with yet another Spyro Yap Sesh. So, there is a few things I wanted to talk about, and also I kind of want to direct the floor to you guys as well, because you guys always, as I said, I always think, there's not enough to talk about, and then you guys always ask some brilliant questions that then lead into a big discussion that a lot of people have a really good time, and I'm excited to sit down and have a chat with all of you. We already got a question. What are the odds that we will get more gameplay on Spyro Community Day? So, I think that there is, of course, a chance of there being a post on Spyro Community Day. Will it be gameplay? I don't know if it'll be gameplay. I hope it'll be gameplay. I do think, though, that there is going to be activity on the Spyro front. I think that we're going to get something, 100% that we're going to get something. Now, what is that something? Is it going to be a piece of art? Is it going to be a video going over like fans' reactions? Whatever? I don't know. But what I do know is that we should be getting something, which is going to be interesting because we're going to kind of lead a little bit into there's a little bit of there's something weird going on And I don't know where to pinpoint on what's going to happen. So you have to realize that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things going on. 5 potential outlets and events and timings for Spyro. Genuinely 5. I'm not sitting here and being like, oh, we're nitpicking and tiny. No. There are 5 things, and they're all going to happen within a shorter than 2 weeks. Might be like a 10-day range. Might be not quite 2 weeks, but a little bit more than a week. So about a 10-day range. There are 5. Now you might be wondering, what am I talking about? First, we have Gamescom, right? Which is, I believe, on the 25th of August, I believe. Let me double check that. Gamescom opening night live is Wednesday, August 26th. So I was off by a day. Wednesday, August 26th. Or wait, no. The that's when the actual convention opens. The actual opening night live is on the 25th. Haha, I was right. So we have the 25th. Okay. After we have that, a few days later, we then have PAX West. And the reason why that is important is because that is where that's where Activision is located. And that's also where the majority of Toys for Bob employees are located, are in the California West Coast. And I believe PAX West is in Seattle. So it's just a straight shoot up for them, right? So there's that. Then, if you want to count Fan Expo, which is in Toronto, you can make that 6, but that's a light 6. Although they did bring a demo for Spyro Reignited to Fan Expo. So if it's at Gamescom, there might be something at Fan Expo, but we'll see. In any case, then you have the Spyro Community Day. Now, I don't care what anyone says. I genuinely don't care what anyone says, because guess what? Spyro Community Day is a big event. It's a big event now. We got official involvement from the official accounts. That is something that is building. Then, a few days later, you have the anniversary, which will be the 28th anniversary of Spyro. So now it's like, okay, there's a lot. And then not only that, there's also the Crash Bandicoot event that could be happening around the same time. So now we're juggling all these shows and all these things where it could be here, 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 here. There could be, and it's all potentially happening. All within. Don't do it, Charles. Thank you so much for first time watching at a theme park. Hey, member for 62 months. Thank you so much. Sympafan94 donated $5 to Super Chat. First donation of the stream. Thank you so much. Hey, King Guy, Reignite made me a passionate fan. That is awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm really happy to hear that Reignited is what made you a passionate fan. Thank you so much. So there is so much juggling going on of where it could or it might not show up, right? We could see more gameplay, we could see art, we could see more interviews, we could see exclusive drops, we could see there is so much that's potentially going on within the next few weeks that it's kind of like, okay, it's like we haven't seen anything. All of a sudden, there's 5 holes that could pop out, pop, and all things could show up, right? I still don't know if they're going to be at PAX West. I don't know if there's going to be a demo. I don't know yet. And it's all going to be crazy and it's all going to be fun. But let's also talk about a theory that I proposed on my previous video just briefly, and a whole bunch of people reacted to that. A whole bunch of people reacted to that theory, and in a multitude of ways. And the fact that it stirred a reaction among people is what makes me want to stop and think about it for a moment. So let's talk about this for a sec. So let's talk about Sparx. Let's talk about Sparx. So Sparx is a character that we love. Sparx did a number of things. Sparx has done a number of good things, Sparx has done a number of things for Spyro fans. We love Sparx. But I proposed an interesting theory. See, we don't know, where did all the other adult dragonflies go? Do they even get dragonflies? If they do get dragonflies, why does none of them have them? And here's the thing. Dragonflies have a significantly shorter lifespan. And we don't see Sparx in the trailer, and we're told that it's hinted at that Sparx has some sort of involvement in the actual that Sparx may have some sort of involvement with the plot. Okay. So I proposed just a fun little thought, not really fun, but just an interesting thought, which was, hey, what if Sparx is dead? What if Sparx is dead? What if that is part of Spyro's character development, is that Sparx passed away, right? And the thought is that when a dragon is born, they get a dragonfly. The dragonfly helps and protects them and helps raise the dragons as a companion. And then once the dragon comes of age, the dragonfly passes away because the dragon has now grown up long enough where they don't need the dragonfly anymore. Now, the theory comes from that because all the other dragons know about Sparx. They talk about Sparx. Delbin even says, do you know the dragonfly who's protecting you? His name is Sparx, right? And he instructs Spyro on, this is how the dragonfly works. If Delbin never had a dragonfly, or if all the other dragons didn't have dragonflies, how would they know how the dragonfly would help and work? And why does Spyro not know? When he goes, do you know what the dragonfly's doing? He's like, and Spyro's not even 100% certain. He's like, his name is Sparx. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean. So, what if that is the notion? But there is also a counter argument, but it does leave, it does open and explain another thing, but it also leaves other holes open as well. And here's the other counter argument, is that Spyro is some kind of a chosen dragon, like a chosen one, a prophecy, a prophetic dragon, a hero dragon, whatever you want to call it, the chosen one. And the chosen one gets a dragonfly. I'm going to open up my vent here real quick. And the dragonfly helps him throughout his adventures, etc., etc. So, there's a few routes that can be taken here. But that route explains other things and also opens up more holes. Because one, if we explore that route, we now have to ask the question, and I know that, I know everyone's going to have the same knee-jerk reaction, is Enter the Dragonfly canon? Because if Enter the Dragonfly is canon, that story doesn't work. Because otherwise, all the dragons get the dragonflies. In fact, if we say Enter the Dragonfly is canon, it makes the Sparx' dead theory even more plausible. That's the funny thing, is that it makes that theory even more possible. Because if we turn around and say Enter the Dragonfly is real, that all dragons get a dragonfly, okay, what happened to all the other dragons' dragonflies? Right? We also know that there has been a defined line made that Skylanders and Spyro are separate. They're not the same canon. That's something, yes, Platinum Lucario brings up a good point. They are separate from canons. They are not the same, and which that's perfectly fair and fine. I'm trying to think. If Sparx is involved, I don't know why he's not shown in the trailer. Is it possible there is a design that Nicholas Cole made that has a really fun take on Sparx, where you see Spyro grown up, but Sparx is an old man. Sparx, he's got like glasses on, he's got like a little mustache, right? He's like elderly Sparx, right? And what I'm wondering is, okay, is it possible that we are dealing with an older Sparx who's a little older, right? That's also another good point too, Elena, that also makes a good point too, Elena, that that I don't know if they would go that far with like the pain. Like that might be a little too, that might be too a step too far, right? It just might be a step too far, and that is a good point. That's not a not wrong in thinking that, hey, that might be like, hey, that might be stupid fruit fly. That might be going a little too far, and I agree that is possible. So why not show Sparx? Right? That's where I'm not understanding is why not shows if Sparx is going to be a part of the game, I don't understand why you wouldn't just show even just a little bit, just seeing a little bug butt, following Spyro, and like, oh, Sparx is back, right? Also, why Sparx isn't being used as like the target indicator, because use Sparx like Nevi from The Legend of Zelda, where Nevi was, would lock onto something. It was like the Z lock, right? And we see in the trailer, we see like a purple, like basically like a Z lock, an indicator lock around the fire logs, and then Spyro shooting his breath. Why couldn't you use kind of like a Sparx effect for that? And it's Sparx helping Spyro aim and fire. Hey! Safactus donated €5 through Super Chat. Thank you so much. Well, Sparx was introduced as a life bar for Spyro and could take damage for you in game, so there could be a magical bond between the two. That is correct. I think what I'm trying to think is, are they going to continue with that concept? Are they going to continue with the concept of Sparx being a life bar? Should Sparx be a life bar? Should Sparx be a companion? If you use Sparx as a health bar, or do you use a regular health bar? What if Sparx is just back on Spyro's homeworld and in some flashbacks remembers him as an old man right before Spyro left for the realm beyond? That's a good question. That's a good possibility too. Also, my assumption, I'm gonna pull something up here real quick. We're kind of going loosey goosey on this Spyro discussion, so this is just my thoughts. In a realm beyond, this location here is the realm beyond, right? This is the new realm. Okay, we move on. This is all the new realm, all the new realm, all the new realm, still a new realm. This is all the new realm. We are still, this may not be the new realm. This might be this could be uh the Dragon Realms here, but we'll see in a second. But let me explain. I'm sorry, this is Peacekeepers. This looks almost identical to Peacekeepers. And if you really want to push it even further, I got another piece of evidence that is going to be really interesting. Okay? I'm going to push it just a little further, just a little bit further. And this is a detail that I don't think a lot of people would notice. So this is either something that the CGI artists just bypassed on, or there is a definitive point. Okay? I want you to think. When you're playing Spyro 2 and 3, there are different shapes of gems for each color. Okay? Let me show you. Think about it for a second. See, this is the Yap Sesh. I can show my madness. I can show my crazy. Okay? These are from Spyro 2 and 3. You have your red gem, you have your green gem, your yellow, your purple, your pink, and is there one missing? There might be one missing there. I'm not sure. Or is that the 4? Or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the 5. So these show up in Avalar and in the Forgotten Realms. But if you go back to Spyro 1, you need to remember something. In Spyro 1, they're all the same shape. They're not different. Okay? Actually, here's an image from Blue Knight's Twitter we can use. These are from Spyro 1. They are all the same shape. They're all the same shape. Doesn't matter the color. Same model. Avalar, Spyro 2 and 3 gems, Spyro 1 gems. All the gems in Spyro 1 are the same shape. So that you just might say, well, that's just a coincidence. They just, decided in Spyro 1 to do those, and then Insomniac changed it for Spyro 2 and 3, and then when Toys for Bob went back to recreate, they wanted to follow that. But these gems are all the same shape. And not only that, the Avalar gems, the 5 gems, they're a dark purple, but the Spyro 1 is like a more typical blue, right? Just your typical blue, right? And take a look back here. What's over here? It's the typical blue, and they're all the same shape. And this looks directly from Peacekeepers. This seems to be the Dragon Realms. This is not a realm beyond. Spyro is running through the Dragon Realms here. But here's the thing. While we're still on topic on hand, where's Sparx? If we're running through the Dragon Realms, I might slip and call it the Dragon Isles because that's World of Warcraft Dragonflight burned in my brain. So I apologize if I slip up and call it that. Just know if I'm saying Dragon Isles, I mean Dragon Realms. Okay. So, but this is the Dragon Realms. if we're in the Dragon Realms here, why are we not seeing Sparx? Why is Sparx not here? We can see clearly that this is the, we can see clearly that this is most likely, going to be Peacekeepers. Specifically, I can even pinpoint it, that this looks like Dry Canyon. This looks like Peacekeepers, or at least one of the levels in the Peacekeepers world. Okay. Now, we fly up. He's flying through the sky. But that means if this trailer is accurate, now here's the other thing about trailers sometimes is that in terms of story, they might truncate things. But that means this thing is in the Dragon Realms. So my question is that if we go off of the CGI alone, Spyro is exploring, running around, and then while he's exploring, he comes across something that is being built in the Dragon Realms. This thing acts as a portal, perhaps, to a realm beyond, which then we cut to a completely different environment. It's lush, it's green, it looks like it's an ancient civilization. Right, we even got statues that I think look like ancient sheep, but we still don't see Sparx. So there's a few implications here. The gem investigation. Is that the prologue? In my opinion, yes. I do think that this is essentially a piece of the prologue, because I'll push it a step further, the craziness a little bit further. The CGI trailer that we got for Crash Team Rumble is the same CGI, is a piece of the same CGI trailer for the intro. And we got another donation from Elena, who donated $50, $50 through Super Chat. If you can make a blink and you'll miss it reference to an older Spyro Skylanders character who's not otherwise in a realm beyond, who and why would you do the reference? Example, Spyro approaches a tree and Stealth Elf appears and fades away as you move away. Thank you so much for the $50. $50. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You are amazing. Thank you, Elena. So, a blink and you'll miss it reference. I remember I said the Stealth Elf idea before, where you're running through the forest and you see something running through, and right when the camera looks at it, it goes poof, it disappears. That would be funny. See, it can't be from the Dragon Realms. Do you know what would be really funny? Hi, Faith. You know what would be really funny? What would be really funny is that if there's like, okay, hear me out here. Just hear me out for a second. What if there is a Nork that also got stuck in this realm, and there are little collectibles of this Nork exploring the realm, and it's part of a mission, or it's part of a small side mission where you find a little campsite, you see carvings on the wall that look like Artisan's Homeworld, and it's a Nork trying to explore this world and figure out what's going on. And it's And then it's eventually something that a character that you find, it's this traveling Nork that has like a big backpack. It's got junk in the backpack sticking out. And as you're going through the world, you're finding little tiny Easter eggs of his travels as he's going through the world. Dragon Realms, when he goes to Dragon Shores, all the Norks are civilized, and a lot of them can speak English and they can talk. So the question is that wouldn't it be interesting that you go over into a realm beyond and there's just one Nork, one little Nork, and he's traveling through, and you're finding little Easter eggs of his journeys through the entire realm beyond. That would be fun. That would be really cool. Another thing that would be cool, blink and you'll miss it, and I know this is going to get some spice. This is going to be some spice, but I'm going to go here. Give me, and some people are going to be very confused at this, give me subtle, tiny Easter eggs to both Dr. Entropies. Because Dr. Entropies, both of them were sent, they opened up a portal and just sent them beyond. Wouldn't it be cool if we found evidence of them showing up? That you don't interact with them. It's not part of the story. It's just that there's a little area where the Entropies are trying to make their way back to their planet. And this realm was one of the places that they stopped on their way back. And it's just a little, small, tiny, little bit. I personally don't believe Sparx is dead. I do believe that the dragons can grow up to a point that they don't need a dragonfly, and that Spyro is not that age yet. Maybe when he becomes bipedal. As for where Sparx is in the realm beyond, maybe Sparx was either captured by the scabs or maybe transformed into the reticle we see in the teaser. See, the question that I am trying to ask is why? Why is it that they're not showing Sparx? It's the why, right? Right? That is the question. My question is the why. If Sparx is normally and happily involved like every other character, my question simply becomes, okay, why? Why are you not showing Sparx? We all assume that Sparx is going to be there. We all assume. It would be like if they showed The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and they don't have Nevi. It's like, well, yeah, of course Nevi's going to be there. It's like if they turn around and they show Crash Bandicoot and they show nothing of Aku Aku. Right? It's like, we know Aku Aku is in Crash Bandicoot, period. That's without a doubt. Right? That is without a doubt. But Sparx has been involved in every single Spyro game. Even when he's not used as a health bar, he's still involved in some way. So what I'm wondering is why? Why are you not showing him? And it only comes down to two reasons. Is you have the plot reason. He has something to do with the plot specifically, or there's a visual change to him that has to do with a game mechanic. And again, it's the why. An ancient tuning fork, that would be cool. That would be cool. Like some sort of, you finding these ancient tuning forks. You can find diaries, and you know it's a mysterious scientist. It would be cool. Hold on, it would be actually cool if there were like manuscripts from going from like realm to realm to realm to realm, and it's some scientists jotting down their observations about how they're trying to travel and how, and Spyro is helping using these manuscripts to help figure out how to get back. and you always see like the person that wrote it, it's scratched out or it's messed up. But if the player were to sit down and read it and look at the names and put it together, it would spell out Dr. Entropy, right? And they don't outright flat out say it's Dr. Entropy, but it's just that if you figure it out and you sit down and you read the Easter egg and put it together, you realize it's Dr. Entropy. Yes, Sparx was shown in the Reignited trailers. He was shown on day one right away. So, for evidence, he also was in the promotional art day one. He was also in the original very first on. Why would there be ancient tuning forks? Because it would be, see, already, so right there. So right away, we got him soaring. We see Sparx right there. Right? And then in game, we see Sparx right there, right? We see Sparx here, right? So Sparx is being shown in game, right? In various points. There's some areas where he's there, some areas where he's not. But the Chronicle scripts would be really cool. Yes, I want a library for the Chronicler. That would be really neat if they had that. So yes, Sparx has been shown in trailers past for Reignited. So my question is, okay, why? Have people unsubscribed? I'm not sure. Are now indie they have access to Crash Easter egg for Realm Beyond? Asking as a lead question. No, they'd be able to do that, Mystic Fire, because Xbox also owns Crash Bandicoot. It's the same IP, right? It's the same IP. Under Activision, at worst, they would have to ask. They would just have to ask Xbox just to double check if it's okay, but they have the legal right. They can do it. I don't think what we saw was a Speedway level. I mean, maybe it is like that was just like the best way to show. But I don't know. Huh. Excuse me. What if Sparx has just grown old that Spyro doesn't need a dragonfly companion on his adventure? But that old man Sparx. That'd be sad. Hey, Alchavizi, how's it going? What if A Realm Beyond is too different from classic Spyro and Toys for Bob thinks people just don't care about Spyro anymore when it's actually only about their game? Let me read that again. What if A Realm Beyond is too different from classic Spyro and Toys for Bob just thinks people just don't care about Spyro anymore when it's actually only about their game? Okay, so let me be perfectly clear here, Sam Hine. Toys for Bob loves Spyro to death. They adore Spyro to death. They were the ones that came to Xbox and said, people love Spyro. This is the game that we want to do. This is what we're going to do. And this is what we want. Right. And they've said that on multiple interviews. They have said it on multiple posts. They have said that in multiple ways where they said that we want to do Spyro. People love Spyro and we want to do Spyro, and we're going to do Spyro. We're going to honor him and we're going to do it. So the idea of Toys for Bob not caring about Spyro is take that idea and throw it away. take that idea, that little seed, and in the trash, because that's not true. That is 100% not true. Toys for Bob adores Spyro. They love Spyro. There's not at any point they think that no one cares about Spyro anymore. Not true, because they were the ones that wanted to make this new Spyro game. So no. Have they said whether they are going to insert TLS stuff? Only asking because this is supposed to be a springboard from the Spyro trilogy. So would they be retconning TLOS? There's a chance that there is some sort of TLOS retcon. I'm not going to say that's not possible. Of course, there's a chance that that they may retcon it. They may tie it in. I'm not sure. Hold on one second, everybody. I do sincerely apologize. I have to quickly just go pee real quick. It just hit me. So hang on a second. I will be right back. I'll be right back. Hang on. I won't be long. And we're back. Sorry, guys. All right. So let's continue. I think, imagine if Toys for Bob do a teaser around the time for Spyro Community Day. I don't think that that's going to be a theory. I think that might happen. I got a feeling that it may happen. I think that it genuinely might happen. So, okay. So, Sparx, we're still trying to figure out Sparx, and we're still trying to figure all that out. So, if you guys also got other questions about A Realm Beyond, or I got another thing I want to talk about here. If there is a video that you want me to dig into, okay? If there is a video you want me to dig into, you let me know, and I will try to jump down. Hey! Thank you so much for the $10 super chat to Super. Is it Zera or Xera? Super with the super chat. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Donate $10 to super chat. Just want to say that I really appreciate all the hard work and deep dives you put into covering Spyro. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I very much enjoy doing these deep dives. I very, very, very much enjoy doing it. I think that I love Spyro to death, and I think that showing that love also allows for other people to want to show their love too, and they come out beating their drum in celebration of Spyro. And because some people, there's a lot of fans of Spyro who don't express it. They just think, oh yeah, Spyro was cool, and then they realize there's a community, and that's something that I think is really cool. Do you think Crash's 30th anniversary will impact the amount of Spyro marketing around that time? That is something that I have been considering. It depends on how much Activision is going to be pushing for CTR and Crash Bandicoot in general for the 30th anniversary. It's possible that we even get a trailer from Spyro announcing that there's going to be a dedicated Crash level, or Crash will be involved in some way in the game, which would be really cool. It is possible. It is possible that they are trying to keep clear of September, or they're trying to keep clear to not step on Crash Bandicoot's toes, so that they have an open airway for Crash Bandicoot to celebrate and then swing back to Spyro. So it is possible. But we will see. We will see. How's it going? What's your thoughts on hate and how you deal with it? Okay. So I don't want to go too much on a tangent here, because I am answering a question, but I don't want to go too much on a tangent because we're talking about Spyro, not me. I am the delivery device, but I am not the focus, right? It depends on the day, and it depends on who, and it depends on the what. I was called some atrocious things when I made a comment about Halo, and I laughed. I wasn't hurt by any of it because it was so outlandish and stupid. It was so out there and crazy that I didn't feel bothered by it. I didn't feel bothered by it, and it made me laugh. Like, there was absolutely zero emotion attachment there. I laughed. I thought it was funny because the things that I was being called, anybody with their head screwed on right, even remotely, even if the head was turned on loose, would look at that and say, that's nuts. That's crazy. And I think it's hilarious. I'm like, doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't even affect me. Right? The stuff that does affect me is when somebody who knows the content sits down and starts talking about it and twisting my words. The worst lies are the lies that are 99% true. Where somebody will sit down and they go on and they twist and they turn, and you could tell someone 10% lies and 90% truth, and they will still take that as truth. And the thing is that it doesn't take much to sully someone's personality or someone's reputation by only injecting 10% lies. That's it. You can have 90% true, like, yeah, everything you say 90% true, and then have just 10% bad and twist. I don't like that. I don't like when there are people that are like, oh, I've heard of Canadian Guy A, or I'm not really crazy about Canadian Guy A. And then there are people that act like they were former fans, and they turn around and say, oh, Canadian Guy A, he did this, and this. And either it's half true, or it's angled wrong, or it's lied about. And it takes those people that were either like, not really a crazy fan, or yeah, I've heard of them. And they go, oh, and it pushes them away. I heard this, 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 and this, and this. I heard this, 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 and this, and this. That is the type of stuff I hate. That's the type of stuff that keeps me up at night. So, and you just got to work with it. You got to deal with it. So, but less about me, more about Spyro. I'm sure they will reveal something on Spyro Community Day apart from the stuff shown at trade shows at the end of August. I hope so. I hope that there's like a demo floating around internally that they're sending for people to try. And I would love, love to be able to get an internal demo. I would love an internal. I would love to be able to get my hands on an internal demo. That would just be so much fun. That would just be so much fun. If there is an I think it would be cool if they did some sort of time trials for A Realm Beyond with the new flight mechanics, like taking the idea of Speedway, making it a little more challenging. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you could easily turn around and just be like, hey, here's the Speedway. The Speedway is an obstacle course in the regular level, and you got to get through the rings within a certain amount of time, like zoom, 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 get through these rings within a certain amount of time and back, right? Which was, again, like Dragon Isles. So, do you think that Spyro will do collabs with other franchises to promote his own game? Maybe like, I know it's going to sound bad, but maybe like Fortnite in terms of like, oh, um, he'll be like a side companion, if that makes sense. Right? Stuff like that. All right. Do you really like Spyro the Dragon? I think I think I can say yes. I think I can say with almost certainty, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see here. Imagine if we got a Spiral Realm Beyond trailer and a CTR 2. I would explode. I would absolutely just explode. It would be. It would be just absolutely. It would just be absolutely insane. I wouldn't even. I don't know how I would even react. I don't even know how. Like, I would just explode. Will you watch the Fortnite event in hopes of for Crash? There's a Fortnite event. I didn't even know that was a thing. So when does that happen? When does that drop? Would I stream it? No. There is a rumor Sonic is coming to the event, so Crash may also appear. So 19th of August. Okay. Also, hi, this is my first time on one of your streams. Hello! Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be, also, I want to let you guys know that we are going to be releasing a video, an interview very soon. That is going to be, I think, very interesting. And it's a big one too. It's a big one. It is an interview that I think is going to land around an hour and 15 minutes. And if you're a big fan of the original Spyro games, you're gonna like this one. I love your Spyro videos. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We typically stream on Thursdays and Fridays, and then if we have a session, a Spyro Yap Sesh on Saturdays, if there's something to talk about. So, but yeah. All right, guys. So, and being able to level grind. That's another thing that I'm wondering too, is that how is that going to work for us? Is there going to be levels? So, what we also can look at too is that, and this is something that, if you can indulge me for a moment here. The thing that's nice that I like about the content that I've made is that I can go back and I can look at information that I've already talked about, and now we can see it in a new light, right? Which is something that I think is always a lot of fun to do. It's always a lot of fun to be able to do, to go back and be like, hey, the information that we have recontextualizes what we knew. And that to me is super cool. So let me see. All right. Into the world of RPGs. Now, what's also kind of funny is looking back at some of the older comments that some people were saying. I stumbled upon a job listing at Toys for Bob looking for a quest designer, a role typically not for 3D platformers. Could this mean a brand new RPG for the future of Spyro? What's up, guys? Canadian guy. Oh, the old camera, man. Brand new Spyro 4 video. It seemed like it's been ages since my last Spyro 4 video that was explaining how Spyro 4 is now in development. Oh, man. And it's where I was able to review a few key details about Spyro and his future with Toys for Bob. I'll be able to share that video since that video. Mostly because we know that Toys for Bob recently farming platform sniff out. That is until video when I saw an alert that Toys specifically 2 new job listings. The first one was for a job post, and the QA lead. Now, a week job was actually quite a find. There are a lot of keep following along because this takes a path that I didn't quite expect. Bob is looking for a quest designer to help continue the charm delight honestness. Candidates bring great ideas, positive energy, blah blah blah. Much like or you can tell mostly are still being on a brand platform, be a game in their wheelhouse. First game independent. So, however, he stopped short of describing exactly what it will be, although he did say something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, it will be similar games Toys for Bob has made in the past. So we can confirm that that was 100% true. We get another nugget of info quest content. All right, using U5 polish quest content, prototype finalize new quest mechanics and Unreal blueprints. Find creative ways to mash up existing mechanics into fresh new experiences. Okay, so existing mechanics into fresh new experiences. That means that there are going to be quests that are going to be utilizing mechanics that were already established in the game to be turned into something else. So again, a quest using the flight mechanics, right? Now remember, I talked about this November 26, 2024. A year and a half ago, I talked about this. A year and a half ago, we're coming up to actually closer to 2 years. Closer to 2 years, I talked about this. Okay? And we're going back to a video 2 years ago that's going to allow us to recontextualize what we now know. Meaning that this is a project that is in development in overall is to mash up existing mechanics. Let's see here. Work with writers to weave narrative into gameplay. So already, again, weave narrative into gameplay. This is not going to be, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say a hot take here. Okay. This is not going to be the quest designer, because people are like, well, it could be just for those mini games that you see in Spyro. No, I'm sorry. It's not going to be, hey, Spyro, I need you to go get me 10 bear butts. Can you go get them for me? And then you go and you flame a bear and you take its 10 butts and bring it back. And thank you for the bear butts. Here's a collectible. Does that sound like work with writers to weave narrative into gameplay? There is a reason why they're getting a quest designer, is because the side quests have to do with the story. There's depth to the story, or there is significantly more depth to the story than what is being initially put forward. Or a pencil. Collaborate with artists to set dress quest spaces with environmental storytelling, cooperate with other departments efficiently and positively, work with others to receive and deliver feedback and collaborative reviews, deliver work that's well structured, commented, and maintainable. This is where I go through and I explain that, the only games that have quest designers are more modern action RPG and everything before, because there's been no for example, one of the let's go look at its credit wheel and we can find that there was no quest designer. Okay, that's a bit odd. You would think that there would be a quest designer because of some of the quests that are in God of War Ragnarok. So I decided to just go straight to a big game that I know for a fact would have a quest designer. Baldur's Gate 3. It is literally a fantasy RPG with quests galore that intertwine with each other and react to each other differently. So surely watching this gameplay makes me want to play Baldur's Gate again, but I can't waste that much time. I can't do it. This game has to have an entire team dedicated to quests in this space, that form of a quest designer. And lo and behold, we finally found our first quest for designer. WoW designer. As I continue for World of Warcraft, to find other games, right? Then Cyberpunk 2077, Horizon. All of these games are all set up. Dying Light 2 is an open world first person action platformer with RPG elements, right? So there are a whole bunch of different things. We also explained that technically Skylanders and Spyro Eternal Night is are considered action games. So along is like every Spyro game is considered like an action game, right? So the conclusion that we find here is basically the conclusion from this video is that every game that has a quest designer has been an action RPG, right? Every one, right? Every single one that has a quest designer has been an action RPG, right? And that is technically what that is, right? Let me see here. What other things could we talk about that is recontextualized? When will Spyro 4 finally be announced? I believe I created a... was this the one I created a chart? March 28th, 2025. I remember I made a bunch of flags with a bunch of potential revealed date. Yeah, this is... Yeah, here we go. Here's my... and then I did a flagpole. So here were my... I think it could go either way, and they both make sense. Likely. So my date reveal was announced. Yeah, so this was 1 year ago. I said announced. One of the things that could be done is announced Summer Game Fest 2025 and date reveal Summer Game. So announced, and then date reveal Summer Game Fest 2026 and launch September 2026. So I got the date reveal. I'm considering. Listen, hot take. If you say Spyro was going to be announced at Summer Game Fest and was announced to the next day at Xbox Showcase, I consider that Summer Game Fest. I'm not mincing words with that. Summer Game Fest is supposed to be an event. So that's just me. If you don't consider that, then fine. The other one was launch in 2026. I got that. That's wrong. That it was announced in 2026. Xbox's most clear option with Activision's second prediction, because I think it could go either way. So, date reveal, Game Awards 2026, announced Xbox. So actually, I was all in the ballpark, but I believe I was kind of wrong. Overall, like, I was in the ballpark, but there was nothing that I got that was like 100% bang on. Like, I was in the ballpark, but I never was, because I'm technically right about the date reveal for the Summer Game Fest 2026. That's technically correct. Launch September 2026. No, because the date reveal and the announcement were at the same time. So that was a miss. That one's a miss. Date reveal Summer Game Fest 2026, technically correct. Launch fall. I was stuck on that fall 2026. That one Activision one, it was completely wrong. Clear option with Activision's second prediction. Announced Summer Game Fest. That's correct. Launch September 2026. Incorrect. I got the launch date completely wrong. And then this one, I got the launch kind of correct, but I got the date reveal wrong. I was in the ballpark, but not quite. I was not quite there. This one I missed significantly. So, but overall, that was that one. So not too many details to pull from there. So it was that one's a bit of a mixed bag. I got some of the things right, but some of the things, nothing was 100% right there. Anniversary update from Toys for Bob, breaking down news announcement. Spyro 4 is big and ambitious. Yes. Hold on. Yeah, here's something. The next Spyro title is apparently going to be big and ambitious, but experience is shaping up. This game is big and ambitious and pushes our craft to new heights, and I can't wait to tell you more about it when the time is right. So, what is the key? So, of course, I explained that this would be more like an open RPG world experience in regards to Spyro.
I think that that's a big part of it as well. I think there's a lot of lessons that you could apply from modern day open world games that would be really interesting for Spyro.
And to note, open world, right? So there's a lot there that we're kind of pulling from. I would have to sit down and go through and look and do better at analyzing. I'm not going to sit down and watch an hour of my own content, but overall, I think that we did pretty good. I think overall we did pretty good. Okay. So I'm gonna leave the stream open for about another 15 minutes. So if you guys would like to if you guys got any other questions, please fire them away, and we're going to be wrapping this up at about 1:30. So it's 1:12 right now. Unless anyone's got something big and deep for me to dive into, just let me know, and we can try to jump in. How are we feeling about Gamescom? I don't know. There's too much going on. Because the problem is that it's so close. The problem is that we're so close to so many different things. We're so close to... Who is emailing me on a Saturday? On a Saturday. That's my cell phone company. How dare you? How very dare you? There's so much stuff going on between PAX West, between Gamescom, between Spyro Community Day, between Spyro's anniversary, Crash's anniversary. There's a lot going on there. There is a lot going on there, and I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. 113.5 gigabytes for what? Jared X7. Oh, are you responding? How much storage for you think you'll need to install? I mean, I hope that it's a hefty size. When Reignited came out, it was like 54, and then they were able to get that down to like 32. I think it'd be cool if I had cracked that open and it was around 60 gigs. I'd be like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. If we're doing 60 gigs, that would be cool. 60 gigs would be pretty cool and pretty neat. But we'll see. If it's over 100 gigs, I'm thinking like, okay, how many hours is this game? Like, how many hours is if we're hitting 100 gigs? It's like, okay, like what's going on here? What are your thoughts about the birds from the trailer? Are they instead Sparx? Would TFB show them and post even concept art? There's clearly something going on there. There's clearly something going on there. I don't know what is going on, but something is going on. Right? Something is clearly happening. I'm not sure what, but we'll see. All right, we got another about 13 minutes before we wrap up. I think the parakeets are creatures you rescue in your own. Well, you know what? Why don't we go and take a quick look, because they gave a short description on the toy over at Toys for Bob. Real quick, give me a second here. Let me go and find it. These little critters, which we know that, okay, so I'll pull this over. So we know that in Spyro, the sheep that meow meow meow, they're called critters, right? They're all called critters. Excuse me. These little critters are hard to catch. They're called parakeets, and you'll find them in Spyro A Realm Beyond. Okay. So already they're called parakeets, and you'll find them these little critters are hard to catch. So already we are essentially confirming that these are going to be critters that Spyro is going to catch, right? Which now ties us back to Sparx. Because, hold on, we're back to Sparx again, baby. Because why would you need to catch these critters unless you need to be able to get a butterfly for them to feed your health bar, which is fed to Sparx? So why have we not seen Sparx? If I didn't even think about that till now. If we got critters that are meant for you to attack to get health back for Sparx, why are we not seeing Sparx? Like, goodness gravy! Just show us the bug! Rabbit hole opens up again. Again! Why aren't you showing us? Show us the. I don't get it. Wondering if Spyro's a big Spyro fan. Notes a Spyro bot. Yeah, seriously. Are you a big Spyro fan? Gee, I don't know. Is the life size my own 3D printed that I painted and 3D printed myself life size Spyro behind you enough of evidence? My copious amounts of crystal dragons. Is that enough evidence for you? Hey, Southwest Warrior, how's it going? All right, we got 10 minutes before we wrap up this show. If you guys got any more questions, please. Actually, we can actually answer some questions too over if no one's got questions, we also can answer questions over at the YouTube comments for my most recent video. I showed you my fodder, Sparx, please respond. What if you heal HP with food items that you collect? So what is Sparx are Spyro Flames the Harakeet and it turns into a rotisserie chicken and he eats that? That would be hilarious. Dark. but hilarious. Okay. Maybe a dumb question, but wouldn't Enter the Dragonfly be Spyro 4? Okay. So, if I have to answer the question about why do I call Realm Beyond Spyro 4 or why it was called that beforehand, let me explain. They said that Spyro Reignited was a springboard into this game. What was Spyro Reignited based on? The original 3 games. Ergo, if A Realm Beyond is a springboard from Reignited, and Reignited was based on Spyro 1, 2, and 3, that would be in the sequential order, would imply that A Realm Beyond is Spyro 4. Yeah. And also, we called that a temp name because that's what they called Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. So we just followed the same pattern. So, as a 37-year-old dude, I feel ignored. Also worth noting, I do buy and still willing to get games physically, of course. Sparx, probably an NPC. It's now Spanx. So there's Sparx and there's Spanx. Physical release. Yes, that is a comment. No disc, no buy. No, I can't say that for me. Again, I am a big supporter of physical games, and I will be a physical supporter of all of games, but also I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and say, well, I won't buy Spyro A Realm Beyond if it's a digital exclusive. It would suck, but I'm not going to sit here and say that. No, I'm not. I'll tell the truth. No, I won't do that. I just hope we don't get a game key card release. I hope so too. I hope that we get I hope it's a full on the cartridge. Hopefully. Why didn't Crash take place after the 3D era of games? I understand they were bought by a different developer, but they did establish some lore to the series. I think I explained that. Didn't I explain that in this video? Didn't I literally explain that in my video that because they called it Crash Bandicoot 4 because you required knowledge of the first 3 Crash games to be able to fully comprehend and understand the story. That's why they called it that. So I will only buy this game physically. Well, that's one. I buy multiple physical copies, as I would. For the Sparx lifespan discussion, it would also be helpful to know how much time passed between Spyro 3 and A Realm Beyond. In the depths of my brain, I thought there was discussion on that, but I can't remember. I can't source it. I don't know. I have a problem sometimes where I will have like a casual dream about something that I think it was discussed, and I'll go to source it and I'll go to look it up, and it never was discussed at all. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I feel stupid. Or there was just a discussion about it. I think some people suggested it was like 4 years after the end of Year's Dragon. Someone discussed that. I can't remember. But yes, it's going to be interesting. Sparx is a Spyro character I care the least about. I wouldn't be bothered one bit if he isn't in the new game. That's a hot take. That's a no, I disagree with that heavily. The last question about the disc is coming out in spring 2027, which means yes, it will have a disc. That does not mean that at all. Okay, because in that case, why isn't there a disc for GTA? Right? Why is this is again there's a precedent being stated and set up and done. Also, there's other games that have come out before that are big, lovely, beautiful games that didn't get a physical release until later. So, no, that's the thing, is that this is where GTA is setting a precedent where we don't know. So we don't know yet. If Sparx isn't in the game and the game ends up being bad, then we all gotta say the game lost that Sparx it once had. I mean, yes, it would be a joke. it would be very much a joke that we would make, but bro helps me pick up shiny gems, so I would die from him. Yeah, exactly. Listen, okay. Sparx is a bug version of a crow, of a bird. Ooh, shiny gem. Ooh, shiny gem. Ooh, shiny gem. Ooh, shiny thing. Shiny thing. Shiny thing. Shiny thing. Shiny thing. You know how many animals love shiny things? Crows. I mean, we literally lure fish with better chase the shiny thing. I was thinking if Sparx disappeared, it would be like Spyro Under the Dragonfly should have done all along when Ripto zapped him up. I think Stefan Van Koff should do the soundtrack for this game. He did a good job remaking the original tracks for Reignited, so why not give him the freedom to make his own tracks? I agree. Okay. I hate how much the Sparx is dead theory makes sense. I would be so mad if they do that. That's true. Couldn't you have asked Toys for Bob themselves? If the game is going to be a physical release, isn't it up to Indie Studio at that point? It's just a matter of if they can afford it, or does that work differently for other indie studios? Ones I mean is Undertale and a few other popular ones. And yes, I'm sure the publisher is already pre-selected to be Activision, but couldn't that mean a physical release? If Activision didn't want to do it, could be handled by someone else that Toys for Bob picked. Not to mention a collector's edition would be handled by someone else, but be the only way to get physical at first till sold separately at a later date with reprints of the game. Okay, that is a mouthful, but I will answer both of these real quick. So first of all, this is going to be published by Xbox. So Xbox is publishing, right? So if there is going to be a publisher, the person that people are actually going to be printing the game, it's going to be Xbox. Excuse me. It's going to be Xbox. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, could you have asked Toys for Bob themselves? That's not how that works. Here's the problem. Every single company has a different method of reaching out for communications. In terms of official channels, you typically reach out to PR. The thing is that not every single company runs the same way. There are some people that have dedicated PR, as in they have a section of their team that is dedicated to PR. Then there are sections where you have PR listing out other PR agents, third-party agents. So there's PR talking to third-party PR, talking to all the other people that need to reach out to, okay? Then sometimes it's one PR person handling it all for the whole game and for the whole studio. I'm just going to say, I don't have official access directly via the Toys for Bob. I have official access to Activision. Read that as you may. So that's it. That's how it works. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. Momentum-based flight makes me excited for the possibility of momentum-based or fast-paced parkour. The combo of movement when you combine ground flight is more exciting. So, all right. If Sparx is gone, it would be sad. I hope it's only a rescue mission thing. I hope so too. And I'm going to say this from Supermom, and then we're going to get going. Love Spyro. I'm 61. Can't wait for him to return. I am a little worried they had changed too much and made it too hard, like with Crash 4. I could play that, but 4 was too hard for me. We will just have to wait and see. Looking forward to more my or other updates. That's awesome. That's somebody who is 61 who is watching the channel for Spyro updates. That's pretty crazy. All right, guys. This is all the time that I have for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We'll see with Spyro Yap Sesh. I hope that they post something soon. And if not, then we might skip the next Yap Sesh. Actually, no, I will be skipping the next Yap Sesh. I can promise you there won't be a Yap Sesh. So that means we'll probably have a Thursday, Friday stream. We're probably gonna have a Thursday, Friday stream, but not a Yap Sesh because we're going to a museum on Saturday with the kiddos. So Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video and our live stream. Time for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.